Hello Hecate devotees, witches, and fellow occultists alike out there. Today's video is on the many faces of Hecate. Hecate is traditionally a Greek goddess associated with the underworld. She also has association with the earth, the sea, and the sky. This was given permission by Zeus for her to wander or roam wherever she pleases. She has over 252 epitaphs designed to illuminate the jobs and many functions that she does between the earth, the sea, and the sky, as well as her underworld duties. She is also associated with Persephone as being the guide between the underworld during wintertime and her time on earth with her mother Demeter. Hecate guides Persephone from the underworld to earth, again associating her ability to go between any of the realms. She also has many other jobs that she does besides being a guide and keeping the underworld. Some of those associations with the underworld are being a gatekeeper, the gates to the spiritual realm, the earthly realm, the underworld, the dead, and the living, as well as being a key in herself and giving that key to her devotees. I find that many people that worship her unlock things within themselves to not only better themselves and the people around them, but unlock those hidden mysteries, the insight, the intuition within them that most people don't get a chance to develop. It's a great aspect of working with Hecate. She she has so many different jobs and names and associations, from cures and healing people, from watching over children and guiding them, protecting animals, baneful and cursing witchcraft, being the queen of witchcraft and magic association. But one aspect that a lot of people don't talk about is Hecate's job as the cosmic soul. And I'm going to show you a book and read you a paragraph from the book so you can get a little bit more of an idea of what I'm talking about. This is the aspect of Hecate that I worship, because a lot of people will associate her with just that Grecian aspect of her being, she's not a limitation goddess, but people will put her in that category of just ruling over one of those aspects, or just being that those things are her duty. Whereas, again, I'm going to tell you about this book, breaks down the many historical aspects written about her and puts her in a different light. So the book I'm talking about is Hecate Soteria by Sarah Eels Johnston. It's a very academic read, so it's a little bit on the dry aspect, and it's not from personal perspective, but taking professors who've done the research and the study and breaking down the written text to be more that's not a word, to be able to grasp better the different aspects and jobs of Hecate. So with that being said, Hecate herself is portrayed as responsible for ensouling all the parts of the universe in the Chaldean oracles. For all around the hollows of the cartilage of Hecate, her right flank, the abundant liquid of primal soul gushes unceasingly, completely ensouling the light, the fire, the ether, and the cosmi. The fragment says that Hecate produces from within herself the substance that ensouls the light, the fire, the ether, and the cosmi in the other worlds, and encompassing all. Chaldean Hecate is soul in its eternal, constant form. The liquid she provides is soul in its active, emanating form. It expresses the potency of the cosmic soul. The oracles regularly portrayed concept of cosmic substances as both personified entities and unpersonified essences in this way. For example, oracles speak of intelligence both as the independent entity and the essence of thinking itself. So what this basically is stating is that Hecate, she not only on the earthly plane or in the underworld guides souls, but is responsible for making them as well. And in that, not just souls, when you think of a soul, we as human beings think of ourselves, but it goes so much beyond that. If you think of the many different things, like if plants are living beings. Do they have a soul? Well, if they're living, perhaps they do. We definitely give credit to things like elementals being spirits in themselves. So why wouldn't a plant have a type of soul? Which I will get on a point about that later. So to have not just our soul being developed by Hecate, but all things encompassing animals, plants. In certain literature, they even state that minerals have a essence or a life in themselves. So she would rule definitely over those things. So to get back to what I was talking about with plants and then bring it back together with the cosmic soul. When I was being taught by my former teacher, one of the Vedic principles is that we start from mineral in incarnation. When we go through the process, we go through mineral, we go through vegetable, we go through insect, then ichthyology, so we're fish, birds, and then onto mammals, and then from mammals into human beings. So we go through that entire cycle of birth, life, and death with each one of those elements. So we experience all of those things because eventually when we come in the human form, we are ourselves an embodiment of all of those aspects. Which I'll bring up another point, Medusa, she turns people to stone. In essence, she's making them start the progression of life all over again, starting from mineral and then working their way back up through human existence. That's a long time to go through. By saying that as well, not about Medusa, but about starting as a mineral and then working your way up, this gives more gravitas to the idea of earth magic or energy coming from those certain like trees and certain rocks, stones that we associate with magic, like quartz or hematite, or I can name 1,000 of them. But the point being is that they all carry energy because we've all come from that place. So we can use those vibrations to enhance our magic, to harness that energy that's been in them, because they are in fact a part of life themselves. So when you look at that aspect, that Hecate rules over not only the underworld, the association of transition of spirits between life and death and rebirth, and you add the fact that she goes between the existence of earth, sea, and sky, and you associate it together with everything as her being the cosmic soul, this is how I view her. So she takes on a much wider aspect. There's nothing wrong with having a pantheon. There's nothing wrong with having multiple deities that you worship that have each function within them. As a matter of fact, it is my belief that we as witches take on the embodiment of what we're worshiping. We all have those aspects of our personality that fit within God's nature, God or goddess, or all of them, or one of them. And the more we work with these deities, the more we take on their aspect, their influence, their ability. I mean, we're not gonna shoot lightning out of the sky like Zeus, but we can embody some of those other qualities that he has that they've written down and brought down to man. Just as I talked at the start of this video about being a key when you worship Hecate. You're taking on that aspect, part of her job, part of her essence when you're worshiping her. So when I talk about Hecate, I talk about the full encompassing of Hecate, not just the epitaphs or the jobs that she specifically has written down, but her as a totality of universal energy. She not only rules aspects of Earth, but planetary association with her as well. Saturn is associated with Hades, Kronos, underworld energy. She also embodies part of that Saturnian energy there. So she's more than just that fixation of earthly embodiment and tradition. This kind of gets me in trouble with people because they traditionally see Hecate with the three faces on the crossroads, and that's, you know, that's how they see her. But when I envision her, I see her in many different aspects. Like my statue back there, she's Catonia. She's very earthly. She's made out of bone. She has tentacles that come out. She plows through the earth. She howls like a wolf. You know, these animalistic aspects I see her as, because she encompasses more than just the crossroads or gatekeeping or the tradition of transition of souls. So, I hope this gives you a little bit of a better idea of Hecate being more than just that initial Grecian goddess, and it gives you more of a broad aspect of maybe how you worship and pull in that energy, not just through the plants and minerals, but also space and time and all of that good stuff. And like I said, I highly recommend this book, Hecate Soteria. It's very good for the academic aspect of thinking about Hecate. I hope this video explained a little bit, gave you some inspiration and ideas, and I will see you in the next video.